to formally open ARCHICON 2023. Joining us up next is one such veteran. I had the opportunity and was fortunate enough to present him with an award just 2 weeks ago. And he's won numerous when we talk about for his contribution to the world of architecture. Yes, he is known so very well for various projects that he's done, whether it is Mahindra United World College of India, the Sumandra Institute of Maritime Studies. He is not just somebody who puts his mind to architecture and more, but when he founded the School of Planning at Ahmedabad as a Ford Foundation advisor way back in 1971, where he continues to be a distinguished professor and a member of Board of Management, he also is a mentor in so many ways. Such are his creations, such are his designs, especially those that he, along with his team, presented what he founded at CCBA Designs. He's been working on various projects, whether it is the Azim Premji University at Bengaluru, the Indian Institute of Technology at Hyderabad, or more. An advisor to so many associations, an author, a veteran, a leader. May I request all of you to please put your hands together as I welcome architect Christopher Benninger joining us right here to address this august gathering.
I would like to thank, first of all, Samir Gupta. We were together 15 years ago in the same hall in ARCOM 1, and now this is 15 years later. From 2008, we have a lovely relationship. He's our president. I've been the keynote twice now. Siddharth Sharma's the past president. He's also been very active. And the Agra Architectural Association is doing wonderful work here in the city. They have an I Love Agra project. They're working on road crossings. They're making a contribution to the city. They're not just being officers of an organization. I'm also honored to be with Abhay Purohit, our president of the Council of Architecture, Charandeep, a great architect who I'm fortunate to know. So I think you have a wonderful group of people here today, which would be inspiring to me and as well as all of you. Now, basically, in this inaugural talk, I'm going to just talk about 3 things. I was told that basically the theme of this conference is looking forward. So let me start with 3 things. 1, as architects, we're optimists. We're not cynical. 2, we're visionaries. 3, we're doers. We're people who are practitioners. We're not talkers and critics and theoreticians. So about optimists, we keep hearing negative things about the country. I want to say this is shining India. This is a country moving forward. You can see from G20 that India is a world leader. You can see from the rapid growth, it's in the top growing large nations of the world with a GNP this year of about 6.2. Very few other large countries are growing so fast, and probably we will be a $5 trillion economy within just 3 years. This is amazing. The UNO says that 400 million people have been brought out of poverty in the last decade. That's amazing. That's a huge accomplishment of our government. The other thing happening is we have new roads linking the country. It takes almost 20 hours for goods to go from factory to consumer warehouses in India, while in America it happens in about 10 hours. Now, with the new roads and ports, this time will be reduced down to 12 hours. It means we can almost double the use of our manufacturing infrastructure because we can move manufacturers' goods to the market faster and have a quicker turnover. And this is something we don't realize. We think roads are just built for us to drive our air-conditioned cars on. No, they're to link manufacturing to consumers and to make our economy grow. Now, we know that India is a center of IT services the world over. Any place you go, you walk into a shopping center in Florida with my partner Ramprasad, they see an Indian, they say, can you help us select a a laptop to buy. They think Indians are the final expert on anything to do with IT. Plus, we are the world's leader in IT and service industries. The moonshot. India is a leader in technology. Presently, our studio is working with the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and they're making amazing discoveries contributing to world humanity, peace, and growth. So we're optimists. Let's live in the mood of shining India. Let's not criticize everything all the time. It leads to a negative, cynical attitude. The second point is that we're visionaries. No? Now, why do we have to be visionaries? My friend, Professor Anand at the Zem Premji University, has done lots of studies and found that the job market in rural areas is saturated. There are no more jobs for people in rural areas. Agricultural land, because of inheritance, gets fragmented. A grandfather who had 100 acres 60 years ago divided it amongst his children. Each maybe got 25 acres. They divided it amongst their children. People have 5 or 2 or 3 acres, which is uneconomical to operate. So that's another problem challenging us, land fragmentation. Then we have increased population, which is pressurizing the carrying capacity of our land. Now, what does all this lead to? It leads to mass migration to cities. And this is where architects play a role in the new India, which is going to be urban, which is going to be more divisive in the sense of very rich people in cities and very poor people coming in. And we have a lot of young men coming into cities getting paid very low salaries, inadequate to bring their family to rent an accommodation. So we have a great challenge in terms of this socioeconomic divide, and I think architects can play a major role in closing this divide. Now, the main thing is we're can-do, thinker-doers. We're not people who sit back in institutions and criticize all the time. We have to produce. We have to design. We have to build towns and cities. The main things we have to build in towns is housing, not just housing for the rich, but housing for the poor, self-help housing, which we started in Chennai 50 years ago, a very successful program funded by the World Bank, where we sold low-income small plots and people built their own houses. We need to build houses for the managers also, for the middle class. So I think one of our biggest challenges in the future will be in the housing sector. Another sector is in manufacturing. We have to employ all these young people who will be coming from cities, not as guards and drivers and watchmen and office attendants. They need to get good employment in manufacturing. So I think looking at the industrial sector is something we started doing very carefully, and we've maybe over the last 15 years built about 6 or 7 pretty good factories. The last thing I'd like to comment on is our education. We need hands-on technical competence. We have 400 schools of architecture. I'm sorry to say most of the faculty would not be able to do a responsible set of working drawings. They wouldn't know about MEP systems. They wouldn't know about structural systems. We need to get out of the hairy-fairy theory, criticism, and high art, and teach youngsters how to be technicians. And I think even if we have 100 good schools who prepare people to come into our studios and work on technology, not talk a lot of theory and criticism, we'll be doing a better job for our country. So having said these few words, I'd like to thank you all for being here. It's lovely to see such a full hall of people and very professional looking faces and bright smiles. So thank you very much.